Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the What the Football channel. This is the BH and Scrubber show. And today's show, we are going to be doing the preview to the LA Rams game coming up here on this Sunday. Going to be being played in LA. It's going to be beautiful there, like 80 degrees. And I'm excited for it. So, Sunday, join us here on the What the Football channel. And we are going to do the live play-by-play live reaction show where Scrubber will giving you my maniac uh, calling of the game and my reaction to it. And then, of course, in the chat room, we're going to have BH is in there. He's going to be answering all your questions. So make sure you show up to the big game for that. And welcome, BH. This is going to be a good game. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. I wish I'd known it was going to be in LA. I've been here since Thursday. So, yeah. Anyway, this stadium sucks. We got to get a new one. Anyway, as long as I'm here. So look, I think it's going to be a chance to really open things up. They are. I mean, boy, that offense is really starting to get going. I mean, really, this is a team they're on the outskirts of making the playoffs, but they really do hit the definition of that team you don't want to play in the first round. Because Stafford got hurt, Cooper Kupp was out for games. They're trying to sort the running back thing. They thought they had their lead guy. They traded him. And so but now all of a sudden Kyron Williams has come in. Their Nakua's back. And so, man, they're really hitting on all cylinders, man. I watched them against the Ravens. So, yeah, man, it could be some fireworks. And then hopefully we go out there and we light it up too. Yeah. I mean, let's uncork some passes. Let's get this offense going, man. I mean, for once, let's get a full Eric Bieniemy, offense out there. So before we get too much into those things, though, I think we got to talk about some stuff that's transpired.
There's a few things going on.
Yeah, we were talking about Danny Johnson.
Yeah,
got released, and they picked up a guy Kyu Blue Kelly off waivers. Young guy's a rookie. He's I don't know, 5th round pick, and he's been on 2 teams and can't make it. Interesting guy, but hey, bring him in and let him play. I mean, he might not even. I bet you he's probably inactive for this weekend's game, but they're going to get him into practice, get him out there running around and see what they have. That's what you do now, right? When you're pretty much eliminated, get some guys in here. We tried it at the very beginning of the season, which a guy that looked like he had promise was Cam Dantzler from Minnesota. Let him go. But it didn't work out. There's issues with that guy, but hey, it doesn't cost you anything to bring him in.
No.
Especially a guy that's talented. So he's gone. And I know, and then, Jamin, bad news is Jamin went to IR. So he's gone for the season. Good news is Forbes' elbow is cleaned up enough to where he's good to go. I don't think he even has an injury designation. So he needs to get out there and prove something, man. He's got 4 games to show why we burned a 1st round pick on him.
Ouch.
So yeah, no doubt. So what else? Who else we got injured and banged up for this game?
Ooh, B-Rob. B-Rob's not going to be there. So and of course James Smith Williams, Curtis Hodges.
I
think.
Yeah, I think everyone had full practices except for the guys we talked about. And I think Sadiq is finally back. I think he was on IR. So I don't know. I mean, quite frankly, I hadn't been that impressed with Sadiq. I'm ready to cut and run from him. I feel like I've seen enough.
Do you think he's the better of the two between him and Chris Paul?
Unfortunately, I do.
Okay.
That's sad. Like I said, I wasn't that impressed. But poor, Chris Paul's, he's gotten out there, man. He's hamburgered it pretty good. He's shown some good stuff. And there's a lot of growing pains. That it doesn't mean you don't keep him around for next year. A lot of guys got to go out there and get punched in the mouth in their first year, and then become better for it later because he's got the physical tools. So let's let's see if he can be a better football player. Like I said, it would be an improvement, I think, having Sadiq. So I don't know if he's going to start or not, if they're going to roll with Paul, or I don't know quite what they're doing. Maybe they're seeing some growth, like we always talk about, right? If the arrow's pointing up, we're okay with that. And so maybe with Paul, he's showing enough where they want to keep him in there. So that's good to have. I guess we're going to really try out our DBs now that Danny's gone. I'm sure Quan and Forbes, Christian Holmes, Tariq Castro Fields, all of them. Get in there and show what you can do. Danny's good. He's solid, but he's not spectacular. And it's not doing anything for us to have him around.
Yeah. You were talking about that Q Blue Kelly guy. Now, there may be that Shen guy. What's his name? Justin Shen. So he may be a part of that. He may see something in that guy. He's our stat guy, right? So
analytics.
Our analytics guy. Maybe he sees something in him. And that's part of this new regime that we got going on, bringing in new people. So maybe he sees something that nobody else saw in this kid.
Yeah. Or too, when he does analytics, he puts such the priority on cover corners, which should be, let's be honest, in the NFL. His whole thing is like they say, hey, there's this good guard, this pretty decent linebacker, and he'll go, plenty of those clowns. We can get them anywhere. Get me a corner. Get this kid in here. If he's a head case, or if his grandmother just died, or we got to figure out what's going on with him. But if there's some way we can crack the code, the corner is worth it. It's not a waste of time, and I think that's smart. And I'm glad we got Eugene Shen in there with his work. And I know I was reading too. The Ravens used him, and they use. They do other things, but they still keep a lot of the analytic stuff that he developed there. They kept a lot of what he thought that they should use. And it's position analytics, it's draft value analytics. There's a lot to it. He actually, I don't personally agree with this, but that just goes to show you there's analytics versus artificial intelligence. I don't think a top of the line tight end means all that much in the NFL, as much as people say. Eugene Shen, he disagrees. Eugene Shen has run the numbers. He said he really believes highly in a top-notch tight end. That in the modern NFL, you got to have it. So pretty interesting. All things being equal, that's good to know. So I don't agree with that, but who cares? The other thing too is he's not afraid of trading down. He believes that teams get very scared in the first round, and they go, well, this guy at pick 6, he's a solid guy. And he believes, no, you put everyone in and you just rank them across. If you trade up from 6 to 12 and you get a second rounder and a fifth rounder, he says that's the best way to do it. Because at 12, there isn't that much difference from guy to guy to guy. Now, a lot of people will say, oh yeah, but the 6th round offensive tackle, which we need, compared to a 12th round offensive tackle, there could be a big difference. I agree. But he doesn't think that way. He doesn't think we're not going to fill spaces, and we're getting the best possible player at that position. Because if you start going for needs, you start filling spaces down the road, your roster's messed up. Because you didn't get the best athletes. And you know what? He was with the Ravens. Everyone talks about we gotta tank so we can get the number 2 pick. Dude, if you looked at some of the number 2 and number 1 picks in the last 10 years, they're dog shit.
Yep.
It's not a guarantee. And year in and year out, where do the Ravens pick? Year in and year out. Pick 25, pick 28, pick 27, pick 30. They're never down at the top 10. And guess what? Their roster kills. They constantly, because you know what? It's not about where you pick. It's who you pick and who's in your scouting department. Those guys never pick below 20, and they continue to replenish their team with solid, good play, because they don't reach. They don't draft to fill a position. You know what I mean? They go for the best guy available on their board. And so I think that's what a guy like Eugene Shen will bring us. So,
yeah.
And then I guess also Now we got a new guy they brought in named Tim McGrath,
Mm-hmm.
and he is a sports wellness guy. I guess he's not gonna. He's gonna. He's not really gonna be like on the team. I guess he's someone you bring in. What do they call that? Just to kind of come in and bring in his expertise. But he is a sports science guy,
A consultant.
consultant. Yeah, so he's with sports science. He is does a lot of stuff here. It says like pre-injury reduction.
I like that.
So yeah, the way that he has a way that he wants people to be trained, lifting. I'm sure diet, all core strength, whatever it is. He's kind of like Eugene Shen, where guys go, well, I'm doing this, this, and this. And he'll come in and say, well, that all sounds real good. And I'm sure it feels good when you're doing it. But this thing here and this thing here don't mean shit. This is what you need to work on. These are the kind of techniques you need to use so you don't tear your hamstring. So you're not pulling quad muscles. You know what I mean? He's probably really like Shen analyzed it from an analytical, not from like a gut feeling.
Yeah, I like what was happening to Tagovailoa last year. He was getting crushed. He was getting killed and beat up, and he was getting concussions all over the place. And then over the summer, he learned how to fall. I mean, just goofy shit like jujitsu shit. How do you hit the ground properly? I mean, I'm sure that's a huge thing, and no one ever thinks about that. If you're going down and you're going to take the fall, here's how you fall, or something like that. You're on turf, you have to guard for this. You're on grass, you have to guard for that. So I like that pre-injury. Know what to do ahead of time. So I'm full, and don't bring people back before they're ready, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, that's a great point. I was watching a guy, the Colts pick. I was really disappointed, man. I took him with my last pick in my fantasy draft, Richardson, because he's pretty raw. But he came in, man, and he was this blockbuster dude because he ran so much. So you got tons of yardage from him. But he got hurt again, took 2 weeks off, got hurt a third time, and then they just took him out. But that guy did not know how to fall.
Right.
I watched him a bunch of times, and he plays on turf. And so he would get knocked backwards, and he would do that thing where he rolls on his back and lets his head hit. And
that happened to somebody recently. Just watched it the other day. Who was that? Stroud or?
I saw Justin Herbert. I saw it happen to Justin Herbert 2 weeks ago, where he did that, where they pushed him back and he just, he let his head rock back and slam. So when you're going backwards, but that's the kind of thing they probably work with Tua on that, and they should work with all these quarterbacks. And then also, this is good, having these guys in. You get their philosophies on coaching and stuff. So we talked about it when this new regime comes in. Everyone's on the same page. We're not doing the paint by numbers thing.
Right.
Where you bring your best friend's cousin in, or I like this guy. I got a real good feeling about this guy. Give a shit about your good feelings, bro. Get out of here. So what you do is you have these guys there already, and they're looking at, this is what we want. This is how we want to approach things. So it will not dictate who you hire as a coach, but it'll sure color it. So everyone's on the same. So going in, we have those kind of guys, and we hire strength and conditioning people there. That this Tim McGrath is going to be on top of those hires, and want to know what their philosophies are and what they're thinking. And now they don't have to agree with him 100% on everything right away, but they have to have sort of a mind to what he is thinking, because we don't want people coming in right away banging heads.
Right.
Like with their own philosophies or their own ways of doing things. That just can't be. We all have to be in on it. So these are really good things. This shows an owner that's already thinking.
Yeah.
And in the middle of pretty much a garbage season. Let's be honest. So that's good. So the team might have given up, but he hasn't. So well, anyway. I don't know. That pretty much kind of covers. That's some housekeeping there on what's going on. And we know our owner is looking at GMs and coaches and that stuff. And as we get up here more, I've been tracking a lot of that. So we'll have some good things to talk about here when the season ends, and when we can start interviewing these guys. That'll be exciting. We'll be on top of that on this show. We'll do some shows about that, because it'll be a little different this year, because there's going to be the new GM, the new coaches, and then really scouting department. I mean, if you're, I don't know, man, maybe the head cheerleader's in trouble. I don't know,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, everybody,
Everybody, you,
everyone,
me, all our
Scrubber and
subscribers.
BH. We better get new hats and some new
That's
gear,
right.
maybe.
That's right.
Just saying,
Never know. It's
never
exciting
know.
though too at the same time. You know
It
what I
is.
mean? The people who are on the chopping block probably see it coming, and it should be done in a way that I like the way Coach Ron is going about it. He knows it's coming. He's going to help them do what they want to do. He's not going to fight against them. He wants the team to win and do good, and so he's going to facilitate the things that they want to do to move the team forward. He's getting fired. Mayhew was
Yeah.
gone. You know, most of
Yeah.
these coaches are gone, but he's going to do his best to just make sure that that's a smooth transition for the team. And I have much respect for that from Ron and some of the other people who are going through some of this stuff too. So it's all about the team. It's not about individual people, and that's a hard one to understand. It's about the team.
Yeah.
It's about the W, and that's what it all comes down to.
Yep. You got to hold your head high and do your job on the way out the door.
Yep.
And it's tough, man. These are, these coaches, these people, they work hard. They're proud of their work. They have families. Now they're going to have to move. So it's not something that you take lightly, but it's got to happen. And it's exciting because we're not just putting Band-Aids and hoping for next year. We're going, like free agency or we got a new D-line coach. No, the whole thing.
Yep.
So on to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Boy, I watched that great game last week with the Rams and the Ravens.
Yep.
It went into overtime at 31, and then they lost on a punt return.
Wow.
I know.
Return.
It was. And those guys, but both teams look good. And boy, the Rams really, they look good. Stafford's healthy. The receivers are healthy. Cooper Kupp's starting to look like him. He hasn't looked like himself hardly at all. But in that game, he started to show up with that unbeatable, uncoverable. And then you got this rookie, Puka Nacua, man. Anybody could have had that guy if they wanted to draft him, dude. He was just sitting out there. Hey, I tell you what, though. We talk about Pro Football Focus, and we talk about their rankings and what they say. And people go, Pro Football. I know what I see with my own eyes. I don't listen to that stuff. Pro Football Focus ranked him the number one, Puka. He graded the highest receiver in college football last year.
Wow.
So, yeah. And Puka Nacua, who's that guy? Who cares about him? But, they rate guys. They, how they, yards after the catch, man, their catch radius, all that, their route running. And that kid just came in and shocked everybody. So we're going to have our hands full because that going against that offense with Stafford, those receivers, got a decent tight end. That running back, dude, the Ravens, I thought they were good against the run. They ran at will in the first half against them.
They did.
They just ran on them and ran on them. I was watching a lot of slow motion, the plays, and I was kind of saying, well, how? Because they do this. That offense from the Shanahans, kind of where this came, they do that stretch run where you sort of have that zone blocking scheme, but they did a lot of power blocking. They kind of dialed that back, and they were running at gaps, and just daring the Ravens to stop them. Man, they couldn't, and not to mention Williams is really good. Man, this is going to be a test because we've gotten basically motorboated our defense in the last two games, and this on turf is going to be a massive challenge. I don't know. I personally don't know how they're going to hold up. I hope they shock us and do well.
They've had a couple of weeks off, so maybe that's somewhat helpful. Getting some rest, getting their heads together, flying out to LA. They're probably out there right now. It's beautiful out there. Maybe some sunshine on them might be helpful.
Yep.
Yeah, they know they're pushing with 4 games left. All they have to do is get through 4 games. Be nice if they win. That's what I want. I'm not one of these tanking people. Just win every time. Because
Yep.
wouldn't it be nice, like a year from now or 6 or 8 months from now, when say we're winning early in the season next year, we could be saying, "Yeah, we're winning this year." And man, they really sparked and came on fire late last year. It was a shit season, but they really
Yeah.
came together at the end of the year and got it together. And now we're doing well instead of, well, they just tanked to the end of the year with a shitty team and blah blah blah. I'm not for that, because the people who want your team to tank so you can get this or that player, you're actually cheering for the other team to win.
Yeah.
You're not
Exactly.
much of a fan when you're cheering for the other
Yeah.
team to beat you. So
Yeah.
you just take your lumps in the draft. If that's where you
Yeah.
are in the draft, you're not getting that number one guy anyways. And if you can't get the number one guy, then fuck it. You got to look at some other different way of doing it. And we're not getting
Yep.
that number one guy. You'd have to go to the Bears and say, here's 5 first round picks over the next fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
They're not doing that. So, and then there ain't anybody else really worth getting after that. So the better strategy here is to win. And we can
Yeah.
start here with the Rams. This is a good place to start. Miami was a tough nut to crack. Dallas before that was a tough one. But with LA, they're kind of inconsistent.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think we got a
Definitely.
chance to do it. So
Yep.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah. I agree. As a matter of fact, I don't think they're quite as formidable as Dallas, and as good as they are as Dallas or Miami.
Mhm.
So there is a chance. And like you said, and the core of this team, like people say, well, most of these guys won't even be here next year. Who cares? Well, the core of the team will be here next year. You want the
Mhm.
core of your team like losers, don't care and don't fight?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And also the people that say that just don't understand the draft at all. The level of ignorance and stupidity connected with people going, yeah, we could get the second pick instead of this. If we get the sixth pick, we'll miss out on this guy. God, all you got to do is go to Wikipedia, dude. Go look at NFL draft, like 2019 NFL draft, and it just shows you all the guys that are listed. And look at all the guys you loved. I do it. Oh, I thought that guy sucked. And just look at all the picks. And there's some real look. The first round, you get a lot of pros, all pros. It does pan out that way. It gets worse as the draft goes. That's for sure. But the thing is, man, there's just garbage in and garbage out on that in the first 7 picks. Sometimes guys just bomb, and they are, by everyone's account, going to be a solid player, and they're not. So you don't know exactly what you're going to get. Be careful. What do they say? Be careful what you wish for.
Yep.
And people do that a lot. And I mean, yeah, if you could, going from the 3rd to the 17th pick, yeah, okay, that's a difference. I'll give you that. But people are like losing their minds over dropping 2 picks, and then we have to tank to pick up 2 spots is stupid.
No.
Just dumb. So yeah, I agree with you. So yeah, we got some young DBs, hopefully, like you said, with the extra time, we can get these young guys in there and they can work together, work as a team. Everyone's healthy in that regard. Forbes is back. You got the veteran, Cam Curl is there. I mean, if they really can just focus together, and hopefully Ron implemented changes, things that weren't working before with Coach Del Rio. Maybe Ron can, bring in some changes that help these young guys where they can play better and communicate better. Yeah. So the other thing too on that is is pressure. 2 things, not just covering, not the back end, but are we able to pressure? That's going to be tough. We haven't been doing it. We may have to blitz. And just hope the interior, we got our 2 best players on that interior, and they're going to have to stop Kyren Williams.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to really hold down when they do that zone blocking. They got to not get pushed out of there. You know what I mean? They're going to have to hold it tight. But so let's see what they can do. If Ron can dial up pressure, they've been doing it more. Yeah. I mean, I think even in Jack's last game, there was quite a bit of blitzing and stuff. So
hopefully on the run too, because Jamin's out. That means David Mayo's going to have to step in. So he's more of a run stopper than a cover guy. So we'll probably see more of him, and probably I think Jabril Cox is brought up, and then Khaleke Hudson.
Those are the 4.
Those are it.
Yep,
right?
Those are our 4. Yeah, and Cody will just be in the middle and have the green dot. A lot, it's hard to find what they're going to do with Jabril Cox, because, he's a bigger guy. He's a pretty good sized guy. Now Khaleke Khaleke Hudson is better where Jamin was, weak side linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of you can be exposed in coverage a lot more there. But Cox is really played more of a weak side position, even though he's a pretty jacked up guy, and he looks like a middle linebacker, but he's not good against the run. That was surprising. I thought, oh, this guy will come in and crack heads, and he gets washed out. He's slow to react. He hasn't quite gotten it, but a lot like Jamin, the poor guy hasn't had much experience. So how are you supposed to learn? I think Cody's in the same boat, man. Poor Cody, as he started off like dog poop, he's actually been doing much better, but they're all in the same boat. If you don't go out there and get the reps, it's just really hard, man, to get your timing down when you're shedding blocks and when you're trying to shoot the gap on those blocks. It takes real game, time to actually learn that. You can't just learn it in practice. So I'll be interested to see, they put Khaleke Hudson, if they get Jabril in there, give Khaleke 20, 25 snaps. What do we care?
Yeah.
Let's just get the guy in there. I mean, I'd rather see David Mayo just be the backup. The hell. I mean, unless they're bombing, unless Khaleke Hudson or Jabril Cox are just like getting motorboated out there, but why not? What do we have to lose? Let's look towards the future a little bit. So let's see when you're calling the game. Let's see who they've got out there on the linebackers and where they're playing. That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
So
try and pay close attention to that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited for this game. So the defense looks like they're pretty well, hopefully Ron's got them in the right place and he's going to be calling the D. So hopefully he had that first week after Del Rio was gone. He just got thrown into the mix. Well, that was actually, we played on that Thursday before. So he had 10 days before that one and now 2 weeks for this one. So he's had a little bit of time to figure it out. And so let's hope that he's got that dialed in. And let's see. Yeah, everything else looks good on the D.
Yep. Pretty. So now we have to look at our offense against their defense.
Yeah. Well, they've got number 99 on their side. So.
Yep. He is having some knee issues. They did list him as questionable, but questionable hardly means anything in the NFL. Those guys can all play. He's a monster. And so our interior is going to have their hands full with him. He'll just disrupt. So you got to double team him. Take your lumps with the other guys.
Yeah.
But we can take advantage of their DBs. If we can give Sam some time, you can attack them through the air. And if they're going to be scoring a lot, unfortunately, we are going to have to air it out. But that's another one you talk about, EB, right? Hey, you got 2 weeks now of practices, rest. Guys are healthy. You've had, any new wrinkles you want to put in, any things you want to take out. You've had a couple of weeks to do it, and also to specifically game plan against the Rams. I mean,
I have trouble thinking that they even scout the other teams. As I watch the season go on, sometimes it looks like EB didn't even do any scouting of the other team and adjust the scheme to match what's going on with the other team. It just looks like he just puts his offensive scheme in there, and this is what we're going to do regardless of what the other team is doing. And so hopefully he's bending a little bit and scheming towards the Rams instead of just doing what he wants to do. And it's going to be even more of a struggle without B-Rob. So it's going to make our running game a little harder. So maybe having to depend on the passing game, which we depend on dear life anyway. So I don't know.
Yeah, I could see having Rodriguez in there, have him pounding, on first down. But you could see Gibson get hopefully they've really upped his role. Especially we've always said he should be in on the screen game. He should line up in the slot. I mean, you should move him around in all kinds of ways. Get him in space, man. The guy could just flat out fly. So scheme him a little bit. And now you have a chance to, because, he is the number one guy now. He's your top dog. Williams is going to play.
Okay.
So that's good. I like him. He's a headbanger. He's another guy you can bring in on early downs or on third and short. He loves to go head first into a crowd. So that's good. I mean, I mean, really, our tight ends are pretty healthy. Receivers are pretty healthy. You know, I mean, even the only receiver that was beat up was Curtis Samuel, and
Yeah.
he played the last 2 weeks fine, and now he's
Mhm.
had 2 weeks off. So yeah, so I mean, we may end up having a 35, 34 to 31 point game. You know,
Yeah.
trying to keep up with these guys. You know, and that would be fine by me. It'd be a good chance to see this offense. You know, see well the offense, but also Eric Bieniemy, you know, say, hey, look, you know, we know you're new and you're new to the players are new to the scheme, but you know, here we are, week, what is it, 15?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's been enough time, you know, to start to see this thing start to gel. You know, maybe not the finished product, but I think we should be starting to see some of this. Why we hired Eric Bieniemy.
Hmm.
We should start to see that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. It should be fun.
Yep.
Um,
No wind, no rain.
yeah.
You know,
Beautiful Southern California, man.
climate controlled, 72 degrees. It's a thing of beauty, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It should
Yeah.
be exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. I want to win here.
Yep.
Catapult off that and looking, the next few weeks down the road are going to be tough. But yeah, how'd we
Yep.
do? We cover
Got to play
everything?
good.
Anything else we
I
got to
think we
do?
did. No,
Okay.
man, that's my list is done. So I'll see
Yep.
you tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. Sounds
All
good. All
right.
right, everybody, tune in tomorrow here at the What the Football channel and join us. We always have fun. We yell and scream and cheer for our team, and we want to win. That's what we're here for. So,
Yep.
all right. Thanks,
All
BH.
right.
Thanks,
All right,
everybody.
Scrub. Thank you.